Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be ranking all of my palettes from my least favorite to my favorite. Now, don't get me wrong, I love pretty much every palette that I have. If not, I would have decluttered it by now. But if I had to rank them from like the least favorite to the favorite, this is the order they would go in. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. But I did it and I'm going to show you. So if you are interested, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and let's get on into the video. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my least favorite, which would be this Laura Geller palette I got from TJ Maxx. And the only reason it's my least favorite is because I don't ever reach for it because it just has these three colors. It just has two eyeshadows and a highlighter. I mean, they're good quality. I just never reach for it because of the fact that there's only three. I want to de-pan them or take them out and put them in my little Z palette, but I haven't done that yet. So I'm gonna get on that and I'll probably use them a little bit more, but that is the only reason it is my least favorite. The next thing is my Z palette, just because again I don't really reach for single shadows. This one right here is my absolute favorite single shadow of all time. It is from ColourPop and it is the shade Snake Eyes. I really love it, and that is the only shadow I ever use from this palette, so I should probably get rid of this, but I have a problem with hoarding, so I don't. And then we have this Fenty Beauty palette. Now I haven't really played with this one much, and that's probably why it's very far down there, but the color story just doesn't speak to me really, and don't really love any of the shades, and yeah, it's a little bit warm for my liking, but I want to give it a fair chance and I haven't done that yet, but that is why it is so low on my palette ranking. And then we have the Dominique Cosmetics Sweater Weather palette. We are now getting into the I like all of these. I like this palette a lot. I play with it a lot. I just haven't played with it a whole lot just because I don't know why I haven't played with it, but I need to. I need to put it in like one of my monthly things. I need to put it in one of my monthly makeup bags, which I'll probably put it in this month. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'm going to, and this will probably be in this month's makeup box, just so I can get a real feel for it. When I used it, I did enjoy it though. And then next we have the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a palette. Don't get me wrong, this is a really good palette. It's just like, this is a really good on-the-go palette, like if you're traveling or something like that. This palette retailed for like $65, and there's no way I would pay $65 for this. The ColourPop formula is way better than this. So yeah, that's why it's a good palette, and I know it's a very good brand, but it is not worth the price tag in my opinion. And then we have this Naked Heat by Urban Decay. Again, I like this palette. I reach for it more in the fall because there are warmer colors, but I'm just not really a warm toned person. So what drew me to buy this palette, I'm not sure. But I do like the formula and I like the colors in this palette for when I am feeling a little bit more warm toned, like I said, in the fall time. But I know I don't reach for this palette often. So then next we have this Morphe 15B eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. I really like this palette. I really like this row right here, but I feel like I have a lot of these colors in a lot of other palettes, so I don't particularly reach for this one as much, but I still really enjoy this palette. That's why I'm starting to like rotate my makeup out monthly so I get use of all my palettes. But I do really enjoy this one. If you are looking for a very pretty pinky peachy palette for spring and summer, this is a good one. The next palette we have is the In the Balm of Your Hands palette from The Balm. And this is what it looks like. As you can tell, I really only use this bronzer or this palette for the bronzer. Like if I just took the bronzer out and put it in a Z palette, I would get rid of this palette. I really like the blushes though, and I really like this shade right here, which is Firm. It's a shadow and a liner, but I don't ever reach for it. I do take it when I travel just because I have a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight in like a few other colors. But so I do travel with this, but the main reason I use this palette is for the bronzer. Then we have the Blue Blood palette by Jeffree Star. Don't get me wrong, Jeffree Star's formula is amazing and this palette is stunning, but blues just are not my thing. I got this palette in the mystery box, and so I didn't pick this. I probably wouldn't have picked this one up if it wasn't sent to me in the mystery box, just because again I don't reach for blues, but I do use like this shade, this shade, this shade, and like these two shades right here. So I do use a few of the colors, and the formula is amazing. And the only reason I would ever put this palette so low is because all of the shades are pretty much blue, and I don't wear them very often. Like I have to be in a mood to wear a blue palette or a blue look, just because I feel like it doesn't look great on me. But I do think this palette is beautiful, and I love having it in my collection. Next we have these e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palettes. I did a whole review on this. I'll link the video down below if you're interested. I love these little things. Like they are only $3 and they work so good. They're very good if you are a very indecisive person about like seeing a palette and not knowing what to choose. So that's why I love these, and the formula of the shimmers are amazing. The mattes are a little bit trickier to work with. They're a little patchy, and that's the only reason I put them so far down, is because the mattes are a little patchy and there are 2 in each palette, but the shimmers more than make up for it. And the mattes aren't that bad, especially for a $3 palette, but still, if I'm ranking them all, I love these, but I'm ranking all my palettes, so that's why these are a little bit farther down, is because of the mattes. We have the Whatever eyeshadow palette from ColourPop. Again, I love this palette. It is just more of a seasonal palette for me. It's not like a year-round palette for me. I would probably reach for this more in the fall time. I did recently get this palette maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, so I haven't played with it a whole lot, but when I did play with it, I loved the shadow formula, just like I love all of the ColourPop shadow formulas. But again, this one is one I will probably reach for more in the fall time. So love it though. If you are looking for a beautiful rosy toned palette, like, ooh, and look at that gold. I just want to touch it for you guys. You will need a glitter primer for this, but look at how pretty it is. Next, we have the BoxyCharm Hello Charmers palette. We just got this last month in BoxyCharm, so I haven't had a whole bunch of time to play with it, but it is so pretty. I really love this shade right here, Swipe Up. I do need to invest in a glitter primer so I can wear a bunch of these shades, but most of them are shimmers, and most of them are a little bit crazier than what I would normally wear, which is why I put it so far down on the list. I have a lot of palettes, y'all. I have a problem, but I love this palette and it is so pretty. Like, so if I'm ever wanting to put something like that or like that on, it's crazy. This has such a blue purple shift. Like when I look at it from one angle, it looks purple, and the other angle, it looks blue. I just want to swatch it again. Like, can you see that? That is such a beautiful color. Love this palette. It's definitely for when I want to get a little crazy though. Then next we have my 2 Huda Beauty palettes. I do really like these palettes. I reach for them often. They're very good palettes. I got them both in my BoxyCharms. I like this palette a lot. I really love this middle color right here. I have no complaints with these palettes. They're both really good. And then we have my Just Peachy Mattes palette. The only reason I put this one so far down on the list is because it's a mattes only palette. And I know it's a mattes only palette, but I like shimmer. I like some shine, so I have to pull from other palettes to create a full look with this. You don't have to, but I have to, because I always have to have some sort of shimmery color on my lid. So that's the only reason this one isn't like top 5 for me, because I do love the colors and I do love the formula, but if it had like 2 shimmers in it, it would be way farther up than what it is. And then we have the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't reach for this as often as I thought or hoped I would. I don't know. I just find it hard to want to create a look with this palette. I love the formula from what I have tried, and the shades are beautiful. I've only played with it like twice. So I need to do better. Need to do a lot better. And then we have this Nomad by Juvia's Place palette. I love Juvia's Place formula. The pans are huge. This shade right here is so stunning and buttery. Like, oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. Look how blinding that is. I love doing a green look with this all over the lid, especially during the fall time. This is like a fall staple palette for me. I love the green and the yellow together with the gold. It is so beautiful, but I don't really play with this again other than like fall time or winter time. I feel like this is a more fall winter palette for me, but I absolutely love the Juvia's Place formula. It is so stunning. And then we have the Anastasia Sultry palette. I love this formula. Again, it's such a beautiful palette, but I really only gravitate towards like those colors right there. I don't know, the rest of the palette just doesn't really speak to me as much as I would like it to, but I do like this palette. I get a whole lot of use out of it, and it's a really good Anastasia palette. And then we have the James Charles palette. I got the mini just because I didn't think I would go through a whole like life-size palette of it, so I got the mini version, and I'm happy I did because I don't see myself going through a lot of these. But I do love this palette, especially for travel, because you can create anything you want. If you want a pink, orange, purple, blue, green, whatever, it is in here, and that is why I love this palette. It's got like huge transition colors, and then the smaller like regular detail colors like the blue, and the pigments are good. I do find it to be a smidge patchy. I find all of the Morphe mattes to be a smidge patchy, but I do like this palette. If you work with it a little bit, it works fine. But I do recommend this palette if you travel a lot. It works really good, and if you want a palette with a whole bunch of different colors in it, then this is a really good one. Then we have the Nubian by Juvia's Place. This is my all-time favorite Juvia's Place palette. I have used, let's see, there we go. This shade right here is the one from the Nubian, and it is my absolute favorite Juvia's Place shade of all time. For Christmas, I bought literally everyone in my family this because whenever I wear it, I get compliments. I love, love, love wearing these two together if I'm just doing a quick look. But this is just my all-time favorite Juvia's Place Neutrals palette. It's so pretty, and it's a warmer tone palette. So if you like warmer tones, then you will like this. I normally don't gravitate toward warmer tones, but I don't know what it is about this palette. I love it. And then we have the Soft Glam. This is my most well-loved palette that I own. I've had it forever. It is the first high-end palette that I bought. I have gone through quite a few pans of this. Love, love, love this palette. It's my favorite Anastasia palette that she has ever come out with. This shade right here, when I first got it, I would literally wear this shade every single day. And I still love it. It's Dusty Rose, and it's so, so, so pretty. This palette is like a good any seasons palette. It works well in the fall, spring, summer, winter, whatever. You can create a look. If you're looking for a very versatile palette, then this is it. Now we are moving on to my top 5 palettes. So number 5 is the Blood Sugar palette. I have not had this palette in my collection for long, but I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful. The formula is amazing. And if you've never tried Jeffree Star's formulas, they're insane. I had never tried Jeffree Star until I got that Jeffree Star mystery box, but now I am hooked and I love it. This palette is so pretty. Number 4 is another Jeffree palette. This is the Royal Blood palette. I have used this one quite a bit. These 2 shades right here are of a new formula that he came out with, and they are so insane and so beautiful. They literally look so like wet on your eyes and stuff. Oh my gosh, I cannot. This palette is so beautiful. It's not super purpley because you can create a neutral or a pink look with this if you use like this shade right here, this shade, but they're so pretty and I love this palette. I'm more of a pinky, purpley, cool toned person, and this one just speaks to me. And let's not forget, oh gosh, I almost dropped it, about the packaging. It's just, yes. I just realized 3 of my top 5 palettes were Jeffree Star palettes. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star palette. This is one of the more affordable ones. I think this was $30, but I just am obsessed with this palette. Like I said, pinks are my thing, and these right here are literally what I go for every single day. Like, I will wear, if I'm feeling a pink, this is what I normally go for with this all over my lid, and I absolutely love it. If I'm feeling a little bit more Barbie-ish, I will put that on. I just literally love everything about this palette. It is one of the better Morphe formulas that I've tried, so highly recommend this palette. Number 2 is the Sweet Talk Pressed Powder palette from ColourPop. If you've watched any of my videos, I've probably mentioned this palette. I just have been absolutely obsessed with it lately. This palette is such a pretty spring palette, and that might be why it's so high up on my list right now, because I'm feeling all the spring vibes. But I love, love, love this palette. I love the formula, love everything about it. And my number 1 palette of all time is the Going Coconuts from ColourPop. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. And this is what it looks like. In my heart, I am a neutral girl. I love neutrals, I love browns. This shade right here is one that's all over my lid. It just speaks to me. I could use this palette every day for the rest of my life and not get tired of it. I just absolutely love it, and it was only $12. So if you were looking for a very good neutral palette, this is it. I absolutely am obsessed with this palette. So those are all my palettes ranked from my least favorite to my favorite. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a very difficult decision for me to make, but I made it. Let me know if you filmed one of these. I'd love to see your palettes and which ones you think are the best to the worst. And I will see you guys in the next video.